Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, outsiders of all ages, the Texas Longhorns are 5-0. They have not trailed for 1 second, and they go into a bye week with some things to work on. Even a 5-0 team can have some things to work on. We'll get to that. Remember, it's the Outsiders, brought to you by the good folks at Poncho, PonchoOutdoors.com. That's the San Jacinto. If you want the one with the logo and that nice Texas right there on the sleeve, that one's called the San Jacinto. They got all kinds of great designs for you. Mention Orange Bloods Live when you go to PonchoOutdoors.com, and you can get one of the best shirts ever made. Here are the Outsiders. Our upper left, as always, is the quarterback. It's Mock 5. That is Chance Mock. Your lower right, as always, rocking some sweet hat that you wish you could own, is Jason Dick.
Everything's for sale, guys. Everything's for sale.
And your lower left, tonight apparently robbing a liquor store, the country gorilla himself, Bo Edge. He's rocking a poncho hoodie.
I was showing off the poncho hoodie, and, it doesn't look good on me, but it will look good on most people, and it's very comfortable. It keeps my ears warm. And
they are comfy.
Jason wears, elaborate hats. I'm just wearing it's like a World Series of Poker hat from 2018.
Would you like to brag on how you did in that tournament?
Nope. I know. I did just fine.
Okay, fair enough.
But I said, I was telling Jason, every time I cashed in a World Series of Poker event, bought a hat. This just happened to be green, so it matched the shirt. It's Green Day.
Our man Chetta jumps in and says, "Good evening, fellas. It's a Victory Monday." That's right. Victory for Texas. 35-13 was the final against Mississippi State. A win and some stuff to work on, fellas. Where do you guys want to start tonight? Without me being Mr. Announcer guy, I'll let one of you guys choose. Bo, what's your entry point for the discussion tonight?
That the outcome of this game, for those that didn't bet on it, was the best possible scenario for Sarkisian's mission for this team.
Okay.
Because the mistakes that were made, which were not glaring, some were, some weren't, are the type of coachable moments that with a bye week heading into a rivalry game against Oklahoma, if Texas would have went in and beat them 62-3, then you had 2 weeks of everybody thinking they're the greatest team ever and number one in the country. No, now he's got 2 weeks. They took their number one away. Well, at least the writers did. The coaches actually amended it and gave it to them for the first time. But shows you how behind the coaches poll is to the AP poll. I don't know whether you like the writers or the coaches, but they just moved them into the number one slot. But they get 2 weeks of practice. Yes, Allen Iverson, practice to really harp on the things that didn't go well. There's not many players that played in that game other than maybe Colin Simmons who can be like, Coach, I did everything I could right. Like every player, even those that made plays.
I know one.
Like Vosick made some plays, but he also made some missteps. Anthony Hill made plays, but he also, there were coachable moments all over that football field.
Jason?
Look, the outcome was fine. It was great. I mean, it was kind of what I think I said, 42-10, and what did it end up? 35-13, something like that. They'd effectively played 16 perfect quarters so far, and they ran into a couple of bumpy ones at the start there. A couple of fumbles from my guy, Jaden Blue, which we need to follow up on the pronunciation here because I don't know that I've been wrong this whole time. I don't know that I've been wrong. But Jonte Cook drops what would have been a 70-yard touchdown pass. A million penalties from the offensive line. That's kind of a disaster. But I would like to add to the list right underneath Colin Simmons, Bo. Despite all of that, it was effectively a perfect game from one Arch Manning. Okay, what is it? Let me find it. 26 of 31, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, rushed for 33 and a touchdown. I wouldn't be doing my job, guys, if I didn't ask. Are we sure Quinn Ewers is getting his job back? Are we sure?
Here we go.
Are we sure that's the right thing?
Jason, I don't know if you heard it today. There was a mistake by Arch Manning pointed out by Steve Sarkisian. Did you catch it today?
I think I heard something about it, but what? No, what was that?
His only mistake was that he didn't lay in the end zone long enough.
Yeah, that's what it was.
After a quarterback sneak touchdown, Sark told him to stay there so they could make sure he was in. An official went to Sark later and said, hey, go ahead, tell Arch, remember, once he's down there, we need him to stay there so we can verify that he's in the end zone. He got up too quick.
I don't know what
to get up.
The replay guys, I don't know what they're looking at, that dive for the end zone was not a touchdown. How is that not a touchdown and like the play of the week?
But hold on, Jason. That's my question on that, because that was a bullshit call to me. But at worst, how do you go back and review it and then still keep the ball at the 1 yard line?
Right.
If anything, you're like, it wasn't a touchdown. The ball will be placed at the 1 inch line. Like, they went and reviewed it. The only thing you could say is that he touched his knee when it was this short, but they reviewed it and then still took it back to the 1 yard line. Like, what?
Yeah, I didn't get that either. I thought that was a touchdown. I saw it 2 or 3 times and thought it was a touchdown every time.
So did Arch.
Yeah, right. And it's, as somebody pointed out, this is hard to do. Arch did pull it off. He did 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns in one drive, Alan. You are correct. That is very difficult to do. But obviously there were Jason mentioned them, Chance, the mistakes in the game. I've been thinking about you ever since the game ended, because you can give us some good perspective here. Let me start with Jonte. I can't think of many things in sports that are a drop pass like that. Maybe it's a routine foul ball, a fly ball, like to the center fielder, and he drops it in a big moment. Maybe it's something like that. But it happened. It sucked the energy out of the building. It sucks the energy out of a team, fan base. You can just feel it. It's weird. Give me the quarterback perspective, though. Like, how did you handle something like that? Wide open. You throw the perfect dime, and dude just drops it. You know he didn't mean to. What do? Go talk a lot to him? Leave him alone? Like, how did you handle that stuff?
So I'll handle this in 3 parts. Part number 1 is how Sloan Thomas would have handled it. And that was, we were sitting in our dorm room, and Sloan told me before the first game of our freshman season, and he goes, Chance, I'm going to tell you right now. And at that time, we didn't have the Longhorn. We had the hill. You know, the hill was still there running up into Moncrief. And Sloan said, I swear to God, if I drop a wide open ball, I'm going to keep running straight up the hill into the locker room, and you can come see me after the game. And I was like, well, that's fair enough, because if you drop one, that might be the best spot for you, because you don't want to hear it from Roy and BJ. Be out of the locker room before they get back up there. That's all I can tell you. Number 2, as a quarterback, that never bothered me, because you're on to the next play. Like, that never bothered me. It bothers me more now as a fan than it did as a quarterback, because you put the ball where it was supposed to be. Would you like to have it? Yeah, move on down the road, especially in a game like that. Can you get more flustered if it was a game like Georgia-Alabama and you're down 4 and you got 35 seconds left and you put the ball on the money there to go win, and then he drops it? That might be a little bit different. But in that situation, look, it's on to the next. Third part of that, I hate saying this, it crept into my head, is that what's been happening at practice, that why Jonte's not on the field more? Is that something that the coaches have been seeing that we haven't seen? Because we've seen what he's all about. We've seen as far as the athleticism. We know what he is. We've been asking, why is he not on the field more? He gets the wide open ball, could not have been placed any better, and he takes his eyes off of it. Something tells me that's not the first time that's happened.
Yeah. Bo, do you think this changes the way they're thinking about Cook?
I do, but I also want to say, Chance, just because the chatters are awesome. Chance had an allergic reaction over the weekend.
Nice.
Leave it at that. That's why his eyes look like a zombie.
He's already in the Halloween spirit, guys. All right.
Oh my God.
It's 1 month from today.
No, he's not on anything. No. It was an allergic reaction that hasn't quite healed yet.
Let's just say I spent Friday in the ER.
And as far as we know, you can't catch it by watching The Outsiders. All that you can catch is pure entertainment.
Yeah.
No ETDs here.
Yeah.
No ETDs.
Just so you understand, Jason, that is a real outsider injury. You hurting yourself at tub time does not count.
I want you to know that this household has gone 23 days without a tub incident. Okay, so
y'all have a clock up on the wall?
Okay.
Do you have a
Just
counter
every day.
on the wall?
Every day I update the thing.
You haven't gone 23 months or 23 days without taking a tub, have you?
Oh no! That's we're regular tub takers around here. That's the way we get down.
They are taking a tub.
So
to answer your question, Chad, with
hold on,
Jonte.
Bo, real quick to get to that. At dinner, my brother asked me if I was going to wear glasses on the show, like I was Stevie Wonder, and I thought it would be more. But Chad, I have glasses sitting over there, and when I first got on for our pre-show, Chad was like, "Oh no, you can't really tell. It's no big deal." So I was like.
But I hadn't thought about the fact that his eyes going back and forth would show it. And then Chance's eyes started scanning while he was talking. I went, oh, God, you can tell. I hope Chat doesn't see it, and then the chat saw it.
Y'all know when I'm talking most of the time, like I'm visualizing in my head.
Right. Yeah. But again, you cannot catch it by watching The Outsiders treat it like Jonte Cook treats a football.
Oh,
drop it like it's hot, right?
That is not going to happen.
What back to what you were saying, Chad, how this concerns Jonte, that's back to what I was saying. This is a coachable moment. Like, in Chance, I think you're right. If you go back and read some of the Orange Bloods reports from the spring, and Jonte was having, occasional drops, whatever. Maybe this was finally the precipice of that moment where Sark and them can get through to Jonte. And I don't know him, but a lot of the players look like they knew, because this was week 3. Cakewalk. They knew what they were playing. Maybe those are the guys that weren't putting 100% into practice. Maybe those guys that didn't, go to the jugs gun after they dropped a gun. And I'm not saying Jonte specific. I'm saying for a lot of the guys, this is the best scenario for Sark. Because while it was a 22-point victory, and while Jason thinks Arch Manning had the greatest day of a quarterback not named Jalen Milroe, at the end of the day, it looked clunky. It felt clunky, like irrelevant of the spread or anything like that. If you're telling me that Sark and his staff watched that game from start to finish and walked away thinking we put everything we had on the field and it was a great performance, no. Okay, and there's not one player on that team.
But
like
I
said,
I think we talked about, I don't know, like I said, I've been sick, so I'm in a haze. I felt like it was self-inflicted, not just from the penalties. I felt like it was self-inflicted from the play calls. There was at no point, at no time ever in a million years were they going to stop the deep ball. It wasn't a possibility. We could have scored 80 on them. No offense, but I've heard things that certain players putting the ball on the ground weren't really interested in being there on Saturday. And maybe that kind of rolled into putting the ball on the ground when it shouldn't have. But I'm saying, if you wanted to mud stomp them, maybe Sark, in his infinite wisdom, like you said, he's playing 10D chess while we're all over here playing tubbles or tubbies or whatever it's called. Like, he was putting them in a situation not to be very successful against what that team was attempting to do. It was almost like he was trying to make them work through adversity. It was almost that was very self-inflicted to me.
Well, and like I said, going into the next game on the docket is Oklahoma. If they would have, I'm not saying Sark threw the play calls. I'm the one that said Quinn wasn't really hurt. He was just faking an injury because Sark wanted to get Arch some reps in real time. So I was wrong on my conspiracy theory. I think you're wrong that they were throwing the game for the coachable moments. But I can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth.
Uh-oh.
I actually think Jason is more spot on his analysis. It was time they had a bad day. Now, even though, if I can get it lined up on the camera correctly, Jason Bick is dumb. Even though that happened, this is the best thing for the next 2 weeks. Like, there's not many players not named Colin Simmons that are in practice on a Monday where the coaches are like, you really think that you put everything out there last Saturday? Nope. And now, like we talked about with Quinn, now with a week off, they get a couple days ones versus ones. And Chance, you would agree with me. That's the absolute toughest, yet also best practice moments when it's your number one defense against your number one offense going at it. Like, not knowing what plays are coming because you all knew the script, and not kind of the linemen are kind of going through the motions and there's kind of we're playing for something. Like, as silly as it is, like the old Tom Herman where they were playing for who got the good steak and who was eating scraps. Like, go play for 30 minutes and see. That'll be the best thing that ever happened.
I mean, that's why bye weeks are great, because bye weeks you get 2 days of 1v1s, and you're not going to the ground, obviously, but it's high intensity. And when you got that big of egos, if you don't think that it's intense out there, especially, you got to go back to the locker room with them. And my God, you let a DB get an interception on you. holy shit, that is the worst possible thing that could ever happen in the world, because you're going to hear it for the next 21 hours until you get back out to practice the next day and you can beat him on a deep ball, and you just tell Roy, just go deep and moss him and then dunk it on him and then moon him like Randy Moss on the way back to the huddle, and then we can end this shit.
By the way, would Chatter Paxson please just tell us what your girlfriend's name was circa 2000 to 2004? Because you come on every single show with this crap. Obviously, Chance knows your girlfriend from back in the day in a biblical sense. Let it go, bro. Let it go.
I have still not seen a Paxson chat that I actually want to put up. This is a super chat from Blake. $2 to get us started. Chance, Walmart stocking will make you all better. Blake is, and also I would like to thank ATX Bates for laying out our full injury report for the Outsiders. Jason, probable with a lip contusion. Chance, probable with zombie virus. Bo, likely with America poisoning. And Chad is out with Aggieism. Wait a minute. What do you can't prove? I have been diagnosed with Aggieism. You're right. You're right.
Antidote. I still have the empty container next to my studio, so we can make an America antidote.
Oh my God.
I can assure you.
If y'all want to jump in the Specs chat, feel free to do so. It is the Outsiders, brought to you by Poncho. Also, we got all kinds of great partners around here, including the good folks at Covert Ford. Here we go.
With Covert Ford of Austin, all season we're bringing the football fun to you with unbeatable deals on our all-new Ford F-150s. Whether you're tailgating with friends or cruising to the big game, our powerful trucks are your perfect MVP. Come experience the rugged performance and cutting-edge features that make every drive an experience. Touchdown savings await at Covert Ford of Austin, a family tradition since 1909. CovertFord.com.
Covert Ford, right there on 183. I say it all the time, but closed on Saturdays because they're diehard Longhorns, although they should be open this Saturday. They won't be. They're closed every Saturday because they're open on Sunday. Full array of F-150s. They got the Raptors. They got the Broncos. They got the Bronco Raptors. They got the Roush Raptor Bronco. They have everything you could ever want in a Ford truck or Bronco. They also have the complete array of cars, the Mustangs, the Escorts, everything you need there. They got the Excursions if you want the SUV. Ford has an answer for everything. Has an answer for everybody, whatever your family or your personal life needs. Ford has it right there on Covert. Right there, 183. Go see our boy Chris Abbott. Go see Kenny Covert. Covert Ford.
Big shout out to Chris Abbott. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. In Outsider Land, up over 340 folks in that Specs chat. If you want to jump in, feel free. Super chats will go right to the front if you would like to put something in the old tip jar. Before we move on to the SEC as a whole, gentlemen, I did have a question about the Jaden Blue fumbles for each of you. And Chance, I'm going to start with you. Were you guys surprised he didn't get another carry? There's a lot of receivers besides Jonte Cook. I sort of got the idea of, hey, man, can't do that. Maybe we don't throw you a ball the rest of the day. But were you guys surprised that Jaden Blue didn't get another carry for the rest of the game after that second fumble? Chance, you've been on the field and had that kind of stuff happen. Did you understand it?
Absolutely. You don't take care of the ball. You saw Tashard Choice getting all in his ear, coming off. And one thing that I noticed, and look, it happens. Don't read into it. It's dumb. He continued to walk as Coach Choice was giving him an earful on that, which I thought was quite interesting and could have played into more as much of you're not getting another carry and we're going to work on this. I think there's more to it. But look, a statement, that was a game where you could basically sleepwalk. It was a game where you could throw screens and do some little dinky stuff. Again, if you wanted to put all gas, no brakes, we'd have thrown it deep 4 times. The first 4 plays of the game, we'd have been up 28-0, and then you could go play screen game. That's basically how the game would have worked out. So, no, I'm not surprised he didn't get carries, and I'm glad to see him do it because it is so valuable in this league that you're going into where you're going to play a Kentucky team that is really good. You got Georgia, you got Oklahoma, you got an A&M team that's heating up right now. You got a Florida team that's going to have DJ Lagway and going to be a lot better than you think they are with him and a couple of games under his belt. So you can't turn the ball over. You can't turn the ball over in this conference and win.
Bo, do you agree that his next carry should be in Dallas and not last Saturday in Austin?
Yeah, because there's a bye week. Because in that game, like in my opinion, and it's that humble as it may be, I guess, these weren't monster shots. Like it wasn't like he was running straight, right between the center and the guard, and a middle linebacker just came up from under and hit him in the wrong way. And no, these were lazy fumbles. These were lack of ball security fumbles, almost like, as silly as it sounds, like the movie The Program, where the dude had to walk around with the ball all week and everybody got a prize if they knocked out his hands. After the first one, you try to coach him up. Hey, you need to be tighter with that football. You better do a better job. Second one, sit down. You want to get your job back. You're going to go earn it, like I said, with a week of one-on-ones against your teammates.
Jason, were you in that?
Go take a bunch of Anthony Hill hits. Go take a bunch of David Benda hits. Go take a bunch of Andrew Makuba coming straight at your midsection, because in practice we're going to tell them that if one of them does that, we're going to get them a special prize. They're going to be the one eating the steak on Wednesday night dinner or whatever. Like, I'm not knocking the young man, because I think there were a lot of guys on that team that kind of took the game for granted. Like I said, it was the third blowout or guaranteed blowout in a row. At some point, your heart, like the enthusiasm from the Alabama and Georgia players in that game did not mimic the intensity level from the Texas and the Mississippi State players.
Yeah,
but
and it won't look like that when they play Mississippi State either.
But when Texas plays Oklahoma, the intensity will be there, or sure as hell will be on the Oklahoma side, and it damn sure should be on the Texas side, since they beat us last year, and we should have a little bit of a red ass. Once the intensity ratchets up, I'm not worried about any of those players misstepping. I mean, Jonte Cook didn't leave the game. He came in and caught another ball. Like, I think he just dropped one, and they'll move past it.
Let me ask you this, though, and I agree with everything you guys said, and especially Chance. Like, yeah, he was in Sark jail, okay, and he was not going to get out until they play again. It was also weird. The second fumble, he didn't even really try to recover it. Like, it was just sitting right there, just gobbled.
He
that
just
thing
left
up.
it.
But on it. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
like, his attitude was bad.
Here's the deal, and Chance kind of alluded to this. You're playing Mississippi State. You're going to win the game, okay? But if you're playing Oklahoma, or if it's versus Georgia and it's 20-20 in the fourth quarter, are you going to keep handing it off to a true freshman, or are you going to put Jaden Blue into the game? And while we're here, was it Emmanuel Lacho on the call? Who was it? Whoever was the color guy on the broadcast. Sorry, I was watching from a pool party. I know, shame on me.
I believe somebody said they heard Alex Okafor pronounce it that way as well, in addition to the broadcast.
He said Jaden Blue. Okay, I swear to God,
he did. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Jay Son. Okay?
No, but
not how you pronounce his name.
If it was a bigger game that was hotly contested, would he be permanently benched on his second fumble? I don't think so, but I don't know. I didn't play football.
I do, because in a bigger game you can't rip. If it had been two that weren't recovered by the other team, it was just two slip-ups, I think he's still riding the pine. Because especially in a bigger game, because you can't – turnovers kill you.
Right. And for the record, Bo, I'll admit I didn't see, I guess, the same thing maybe you saw, and Chance could obviously add to it as well, but you guys saw both those fumbles as lazy, as like loose, lazy kind of fumbles. It wasn't just a good play by a defender.
Chance can tell me I'm an idiot here in just a second. I think anytime that you get Peanut Tillman punched from the side, or as you're falling, the ball comes out, that's a ball security issue. There are moments where a guy puts his helmet directly into the chest and the ball, and it doesn't matter if you have, Amon-Ra St. Brown's Mr. Universe dad's muscles holding the ball in place, the helmet can dislodge it. These weren't initiated fumbles by a helmet or a knee. These were ball security fumbles where a punch, and honestly, on the second one, it just seemed like the ball like halfway slipped out. They seemed to me like ball security, which I consider somewhat of a lazy thing. Chance?
I 100% agree. That's the little things. And it's when you have to go back, when you're trying to be great, you're already really, really good at the big things. Okay? You didn't get to the position you're in without being really, really good at the big things. Having speed, the ability to see a hole, the strength, those things are there. Getting to a championship requires doing the little things. That for offensive linemen, That's your footwork to making sure you're not out of balance and that you can get the block you're supposed to. If you're a wide receiver, it's getting on the right side of the pads when you're trying to block so that you're not catching a downfield holding that calls back a long touchdown. If you're a running back, that means protecting the football. Like they're just things that you have to do to win championships. And you saw those two slugging it out in Tuscaloosa Saturday night, and you saw how important turnovers are. It's huge. And so I do think to an extent it was a careless attitude of we're playing Mississippi State, we're about to roll them, and we got a bye week, let's get through this. And you can't have that. I don't think that's the mentality this team wants.
Speaking of that SEC and Alabama and Georgia and all that, why don't we take a peek at Chance Mock's updated SEC power rankings? He does it every week with the good folks at the Houston Chronicle. Here's week 5. Chance, anything particular that jumped out to you this week? Obviously, you left Texas in that number 1 spot. Bama jumping up to number 2.
Yeah, look, I think things are starting to sort themselves out. And obviously, Catch pointed it out. We've got here in a couple weeks, in the same week, you're going to have Georgia coming to Texas, Alabama going to Tennessee. That's going to sort itself out. The one that was really tough for me was the South Carolina, Kentucky at 8 and 9 because, South Carolina beat Kentucky.
Come on, just flip them. Just flip them. Who's going to notice? Come on.
I know. I think Kentucky has to be rewarded for a win in Ole Miss where that defense played phenomenal. Vandegrift played well. He took care of the ball. He made some big plays. He doesn't get credit. I mean, that's a guy, he started at Georgia, right? And then he got Georgia or Bama, one of the two. And he's a guy that, he kind of willed his team to some first downs there, some big 3rd and 6 runs. So I like that team. I like that Kentucky team. They played Georgia really hard, a few weeks ago as well. So other than that, I think the back end really is what it is. But I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts?
Well, real quick, Chance, you also could have used a little blocker team. If you're going to throw the Aggies at 10, why not make the Aggies 9, slide the Gamecocks down to 10, and then nobody will ask you about South Carolina, Kentucky.
Well, that's true.
Trying to get him into the single digits.
I was on pain meds too. Okay.
Right. Anything I can get, Jason. Anything I can get.
Here, let me just do
How about the AP kicking him out of the top 25 after a win, an SEC win?
Hey, what do you mean kick out? We're tied for 25th. There's no.
They had to go back and amend it because the original AP that came out did not have them at 25. I thought
it was a tie. We didn't get the tie?
That made me laugh so hard when the AP came out with their amended. Oh yeah, sorry, A&M was tied for 25th.
Come on.
Here, if I can
UNLV or somebody like that.
Hey, y'all can put that on your wall of fame. Like that can go on your championship wall. Got an extra vote to get 25th in the AP poll.
The wall of lies is gone, Bo. It's a long time ago. No more wall of lies. No more wall of lies.
Let me nitpick Chance's list for a second here. So you have Alabama 2 ahead of Georgia because I heard that they played each other this weekend and it was pretty good. And we'll obviously talk more about that in just a second. But Alabama beat Georgia, so they're ahead of them. But Kentucky beat Ole Miss, and you have Kentucky 2 spots below Ole Miss. Well, WTF, man.
Kentucky, I think if you play that game 8 out of 10 times, Kentucky loses that game.
Yeah.
8 out of 10 times, right? That's just my eyeball test. I mean, I had to give them a little love for the win. Couldn't punish Ole Miss too much because that's still a damn good. They are huge. I mean, they are a big, good-looking football team. Jackson Dart, he came in and did not look like himself, and whatever hopes he had of a Heisman just kind of dwindled right there.
For the record, I don't know if I'm the only one that enjoys Chance using the phrase eyeball test tonight, but I really enjoyed that. That was good. Well done, Chance. Well done. Well done. And Chance, I completely agree with your top assessment of this thing, not just because I'm, working for Orange Bloods Live, though, but if I'm a Texas fan, if I'm you guys tonight, I am wondering why the AP made anybody else number 1. Like, we all watch
it. Hold on.
No. Bo, there's a version of that game in Tuscaloosa that could have produced the number 1 team. That's not what I saw Saturday. But then again, I have not fallen for that game like everybody else has, acting like it was some great football game. It wasn't. It was great theater. It was a great ending. But one team almost blew a 28-0 lead, and the other forgot to show up for the beginning and then let a 17-year-old run wild on them at the end to take it back from them. Texas is the number one team in the country. I don't know what the AP voters are looking at.
I'm a Longhorn, so I'm going to play the other side of the coin there. And we could talk about the Georgia game later because we all have some thoughts on that game. And theater or not, it was a hell of a watch to end a Saturday night.
Great watch.
Here's the thing, Chad, and this goes back to Chance's theory that I agree with, that when you're the number one, you have to get beat to get knocked out of number one. Texas jumped because they beat Michigan. That's how Texas went from 2-1. Because on that same week, Georgia stumbled against Kentucky. Now, what the people have learned is maybe the South Carolina game early in the year was a stumble for a Kentucky team that's pretty damn good, and Georgia playing them close might not have been the problem because everybody thinks Ole Miss is good, and I still think Ole Miss is a pretty damn good football team. Kentucky appears to be a better team than people thought, and I think that's why they re-elevated. Alabama beat that Georgia team.
Okay, but I mean, look, to defend your football team, y'all stumble look pretty badass. If you're going to call that a stumble, 35-13.
Here's why the coaches put us one. They like us. The coaches said, "Oh, Georgia lost. Now Texas takes the spot." They're more old school thinking like that. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
they don't watch the games.
For a week-to-week proposition. What have you done?
And that.
What was that?
He said, and they don't watch the games.
He said, and they don't watch games. Yeah.
I think Chad hit the nail on the head. That's why I don't have any reason to flip them. I keep going back to the fact that, Chad, you nailed it. Georgia sleepwalked. How would you say it?
Sleepwalked. Yeah.
Sleepwalked. Whatever it is. This isn't a grammar class. They rolled into a Tuscaloosa game that had been built up. They should have been ready to play. Kirby Smart's crew was not ready to play. Alabama was. Well, Alabama also took their foot off the gas and almost got beat. And if it wasn't for a 17-year-old freak of freaking nature who, by the way, the body control, not only on the last one where he scored, but the one where he tipped the ball up to himself and goes back and catches it and maintains his balance and changes direction. Like, the human body doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So, and Chad probably remembers more of this because he's involved with catching Orange Bloods all the time. And after this, I know you got to tell the world about Arch Public, but we had a shot at Ryan Williams since his best friend and quarterback is committed next year as our quarterback of next year, KJ Lacey.
Yeah.
He didn't come to Texas after a certain big, tall, strong person from St. Louis named Ryan Wingo committed because we already know that room is really, really full. Now, we haven't got to see as much Ryan Wingo as we got to see of Ryan Williams, but we've all seen what Ryan Wingo can do. Like, give it time to mature because you may end up looking at that saying, well, that was A or B, not Texas should have took Ryan Williams.
By the way, gentlemen, I don't know if y'all thought of this play the same way, but that hit Ryan Wingo took during the game, to live through it, to only need like a brace move. It wasn't quite like Bijan and that scorpion thing, but I wouldn't have been able to walk for a month if somebody hits me like that.
I would be Lieutenant Dan after that, okay? I would just be...
Exactly. I couldn't believe it.
That's what you should go for as Halloween. No pants, wheelchair, Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan. That is it. Oh my God. That was incredible. All right. It is the Outsiders tonight on a beautiful Monday after the Longhorns get a nice win and go to 5-0. This is we'll save that chat for a little later because it's on to the next game. Sandman will get the chat you sent earlier. If you send a super chat, it will go right to the top of the list. Right now, though, let's have, you've already heard Jason mention one arch a little bit already. Let's have Chance Mock tell us about another arch. Chance, walk us through it with Arch Public.
Yeah, our friends over at Arch Public, a bunch of really smart guys who have taken their knowledge of the market, put it into the hands of the trading bots, and made it for consumers. This is something that Wall Street's been doing for a long time. It's how they continuously win. Well, Arch Public has taken that technology and created an algorithm for you, the consumer. For me, I'm a user. My dad's a user. I've got a bunch of friends who are user. I am not a financial advisor, but Chad, if you'll throw these numbers up here, for the last couple of months, this is what Arch Public has done against the market. That gateway program right there, that's the first one. The level that you come in, it starts at $99 a month. And that is right now at 19.5%. It's a little more than that because that was at the end of last month. And this month, let me just show you, since it is the end of September, this month right here, this is what Arch Public trades have done this month. Now, you see, we do have that one little negative 1.43. So you know it is not perfect. That just shows you it's not perfect, but it's also not human because we ended the month up 9.22% on our money. For those of you that are counting, if you had $50,000 in there, well, you'll do the math. It's a good deal. Arch Public, my guy Tillman Holloway and Andrew Parrish over there, got some huge things coming, huge things, including the Winklevoss twins, a little program that they're teaming up together, going to be bringing in a new product that we'll be talking about soon. So scan that QR code. If you want a meeting with Tillman, they'll give you the full Zoom call, get you everything you need to know on how you can get involved. Just go ahead and shoot me a DM, scan that QR code, get in touch with them. They'll hook you up. Arch Public.
Outsiders on a Monday. Jason Dick, you had something else on the rankings?
Well, first of all, it's still September, and all the rankings, the top 25, it doesn't matter at all. So the fact that Texas fell out of number one, I don't care. But it's so close, and maybe you guys have already seen this, but it's so close between Texas and Alabama. There is one voter, Brett McMurphy of the Action Network. He's been on my podcast before. He's a nice guy, but apparently a hot take jackass because he has Texas 3. Now, how is this possible? How can you put Texas 3?
All the way
because he has Georgia 2. Okay? He put one-loss Georgia right behind Alabama and has Texas 3. And so if he puts Texas at 2 and then points and things, maybe Texas is still number 1. But I don't know. It doesn't matter. But is there a more notice me move than putting Georgia number 2 after what has happened, after the way that we've done the rankings for 100 years?
And Jason, if you followed his tweets before that, if it wasn't an attention-hungry, stupid-ass tweet, he came out before. It was like, my 1 and 2 are Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah.
Just like this teaser, like, F you guys. Like,
yeah.
Because Jason, it's love. That's what love does. Love makes you crazy. He fell in love. He might have been in Tuscaloosa or he was watching the game, and he convinced himself that what he was seeing was an incredible football game and both teams deserved a 1 or a 2, and somehow Texas didn't deserve, so he just would kick them down the list. He also knows Texas and Georgia are going to play, and his love can be self-corrected later. That's probably what he's realizing.
Before we get to the super chat, Chad, I want to point out, because I may only get one opportunity in my life, or at least this season, in the Ultimate NFL Pickle Bowl, Titans Miami.
I'm so mad at you, Bo.
I've never rooted for a quarterback to get hurt and never will. But because Will Levis got hurt, Mason Rudolph has come in the game now, and the Titans are up 19-6 in the Pickle Fest because they have a quarterback that doesn't give it to the other team for free scores. Okay,
it's the worst. It's the worst game I've seen all year, and I watched Jets and Broncos yesterday. All right,
Bo, I'm really excited to go, once the show's over, to go tell my wife, the Steeler fan, that I found somebody who can appreciate Mason Rudolph, because that has not been her for a long time.
Okay. Well, as she's gotten to watch, even the worst of Steelers quarterbacks are better than what Will Levis has been producing. He's the guy that was trying to throw it sideways out of bounds in a game he was up in that ended up being a pick 6 to give the Bears a victory. That's all you need to know. Okay.
Yeah.
Beyond that, because, Chad, I know you're a uniform nut. Later when you go watch the highlight package on what has to be the slowest, how does the other team's defense give it up, wide receiver to quarterback throwback screen for a touchdown from Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is fast, to Jared Goff, who is by no means fast. And the linebacker fell down, and Goff Amon-Ra didn't step into the throw. He kind of threw a lob, and the linebacker almost caught Goff from behind on a play where he wasn't even in it. And then Goff gets to the end zone and does a dance. Like he was Amon-Ra. It was
so he completed it. Amon-Ra was able to compensate for the lack of athleticism he was throwing to.
But by the way, the jerseys the Lions are wearing tonight with the helmet combination might be one of the 2 or 3 sickest things I've ever seen. Like they are awesome.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah.
The black and blue with the blue, black, silver helmet.
No notes.
If they haven't worn them in 20 years, they should wear them every damn night.
No notes. I have no notes for the Lions tonight. Yeah, they look fantastic.
I just want to tell you, Bo, I missed that entire story because Lane Kitten, a.k.a. Tiger Woods, likes to take showers. And so before we started the show, I turned the shower on. And during your story, I remembered I forgot to turn the shower off. So for the last 40 minutes, Tiger Woods has been sitting in the shower.
You got a cat that takes a shower?
Yes.
He just sits in there and lets the water run over?
Every day. Every day.
How does he let you know he's ready for a shower? He has a certain look?
He starts meowing at me and goes and stands by the shower.
Wow. That's awesome.
I've witnessed this. The cat really does stand there. Doesn't use soap or anything. Just stands.
Cat wants to get wet. Yep. What do you want to do?
It's like pool time for the cat.
Cat likes to shower.
Just want you guys to know, I'm not doing my wet pussy joke. Okay, I'm not doing it. All right.
Cat likes to have a little take. He likes to take a shower. Jason,
just take that joke and go on TikTok.
Yeah.
Dogs and eating.
Jason takes baths and my cat takes showers.
Be careful getting out, Tiger Woods. Okay, be careful getting out.
Be careful exiting. All right, guys, we do have a $10 super chat from Hooked on the Horns. Thank you for that tenor there, Hooked. I asked this on House Divided. I'll ask it for the outsiders. If you could take one player from last year's team and put them on this year's team, who would you choose? Jason?
The best player, Byron Murphy. I mean,
Murphy?
Yeah.
Today on House Divided, I said Murphy or Sweat.
Yeah. It's also, I mean, sort of a position of need. So, like, I mean, I guess it would be easy to say Xavier Worthy, but I'm like, we filled that one in pretty good. Yeah. I would say one of those guys in the middle.
Bo, what do you think?
So the obvious answer is Murphy or Sweat, and you're just picking hairs between them. But my answer would actually be, because of what it does with everyone else involved, would be Christian Jones. If we had Christian Jones back at right tackle, that means Cam Williams slides inside, and all that interior problem that we've discussed from time to time, or the inability to get an inside running game going because we can't control the middle. Imagine if the bulldozer that is Cam Williams was lined up next to Jake Majors, and they were combo blocking off each other. So Majors was the cleanup and not the initiator sometimes, like it happens. I think that the running attack would be significantly improved. I agree the obvious answer is Murphy or Sweat, and you can decide which one. But I think having Cam Williams back and having Christian Jones back as a lineman and what that would do for everybody else would be enormous.
Chance?
I've been going through. I mean, the two obvious ones are there. I mean, I think it'd be going into the SEC, having a bigger back like Jonathan Brooks healthy would be a really, really nice thing to have, I would think.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's a good idea. I'll give you a kooky idea, guys. If you don't want to go with the defensive thing, Jason, what about Arch Manning? Because can you imagine if you had Quinn, Arch, and Arch? I mean, come on. That would be like that quarterback room would be nasty.
We're like in the multiverse now, and we can. I thought it was like a graduated player. It was just.
So are you saying that we have like a Michael Keaton multiplicity where he ends up making the copy of the copy? He's like, I like pizza, Steve.
It's Rick and Morty. It's Rick and Morty.
I can just transfer the player from last year. Player from this year. And the beauty is they could both wear 16 because they wouldn't be in the game at the same time. It'd be great.
Or maybe we can just make Michael Taff a QB and then we could really mix it up.
By the way, this chat came in earlier, gentlemen. Just a quick look ahead. I know we got a couple weeks, but one of your own, Sandman, threw it in. I've always wished we would be allowed to rotate sides inside the Cotton Bowl. You guys want that south end at all or not? Yes? No? No? It's a shake of a head? No? Jason? No.
I'm a bad fan. I've only been to Texas OU one time, and it was the COVID year. So it was not really like I didn't get the full experience. So I don't know. Chances there, I know you have to walk out next to all the OU fans, but is there some sort of past that disadvantage to the way it's set up?
No, I mean, I think it's just, to me, it's the history and tradition. I love coming out to the boos of Oklahoma fans. Like that's part of the fun of the whole deal. I wouldn't change it. I mean, as a fan, I didn't understand when I first got to Texas, and don't forget, I grew up a Texas Tech fan. So it's not like I was versed in Red River history as opposed, like I knew the game, I knew the history of the rivalry. I didn't realize that the stadium didn't change sides. Like even when the teams change, from home and away jerseys and sidelines, the stadium I didn't know that till I got to Texas. And so, but once I got there, when you get to run out and have all these people booing you, throwing beers. See, used to, they had that thing was open. They didn't have that plastic canopy on there. So you got all sorts of crap thrown on you. And it was freaking awesome. I mean, that's why you go to Texas to play in games like that. So I wouldn't change it.
But see, Sandman just wants to turn it around. Sandman wants to do some shit talking himself to the players in the tunnel because he thinks that would be fun. Now, ATX Bates points out you do lose seats, kind of. They take a section on the other end. Everybody knows that goes. There's a little section of Sooner fans on the opposite end to make up for the tunnel. But there you go. We'll get to all that stuff. There's still 2 weeks to go for Texas and Oklahoma. A rare bye before that game coming right up. If you want to throw us a super chat, it will go right to the front of the list. I do not see any super chats other than the ones that are getting after Brett McMurphy, but we won't get into all those tonight. Oh, my God.
Oh, we had to put the Jackson Arnold sad jokes away because
Jackson Arnold those will fire back up, I'm sure, as the game
he's not even gonna play.
It's a little closer. You're right. The jokes will come back even though he won't be coming back. It'll be a different quarterback altogether. All right, and let's get the good stand around here. So good. All right, my fine. Little Star Ranch, boys. I know we got a tournament coming up. Bo, Jason, tell everybody what's going on.
Yeah, the golf club at Star Ranch, my favorite place to play in all of Central Texas. And a Texas bye week means I will see you this Saturday, Star Ranch. Let's party, man. It's my favorite place because it's always in such tremendous shape, okay? The fairways are always lush green. The green's always running true. Even in the hottest parts of the summer, the dead of winter, they take perfect care of the golf course out at Star Ranch. Fun setup, a whole bunch of fun holes. Scoring available. If you're a great golfer, we like to say birdie available, eagle available. And if you're not so very great, it's still a place that you can go and have fun. And that's what I'll be doing this Saturday. And if you're looking to set up a tournament, it is the perfect place to host your golf tournament, including one that the Lone Star Baseball Club is doing. This thing looks like a blast, and Bo's going to tell you about that.
Yes. The week before is the Super Cooper event that I host, and that one's filled, but this one is not quite yet. So Lone Star Baseball Club, this is actually the same team that Chris Abbott's young boy, Callan, the same conglomerate of teams. It also involves Troy Tulowitzki's kid and many, many other children of Longhorn athletes. It's a great event. There's going to be live music, and I'm not going to get into names, but I'm telling you, the guy that's throwing the tournament, he knows some guys since he's an agent, and some of those names are on CMT. You've heard them. They've performed at local concerts, even some concerts at Moody. This is an event not to miss. There will be some athletes running around, a lot of Texas people, a lot of Texas ex-baseball players. It's the Lone Star Baseball Club tournament. If you want more information, contact Star Ranch. You can message me on Twitter, and I'll connect you to the guy running it. Just let me know that you want to know how to get to the Lone Star Baseball Club Golf Tournament, November 11th, Star Ranch.
All right, there you go. We're going to have some CNN on the screen here for a second until I can get it all cleaned off because, they give the Aggie the broom and let him clean stuff. We'll see if we can get it cleaned off. Come on. There it is. All right. Outsiders, now you got to get things flipped around and magical chairs and musical chairs, or magical chairs. Either way. If you want to throw us a super chat, it'll go right to the top of the list. I do not see any super chats right now. And Chris Bennett, I hope I'm not using Catch's internet, because sometimes that can be tough. I hope I'm coming in somewhat clear tonight. All right, gentlemen, let's take a peek. Chance Mock, I think we have you to thank for this. The strangest opponents in the history of a couple of conferences, one of them that's not even around technically anymore. But I just threw these both together on the same graphic that I thought would be interesting. So take a look at some of the strangest opponents for the SEC, and then we'll go out west. But let's start with the SEC, gentlemen. And if you head down that first row, you see Texas and Texas A&M both took on the Texas School for the Deaf and Dumb in 1903 and 04. Yes, back in 03 and 04, nobody was worried about putting the word dumb in the title of the school. Real sensitive. Early 1900s. Well done.
That was the technical term then, Chad. That's what they were called.
But Chad,
that's not the one that catches your eye the most, though.
Hold on, Bo.
Definitely are others.
Real quick because we didn't notice in 03 and 04, Texas and Texas A&M played the Texas School for the Deaf and the Dumb. But the politically correct police came in 1905, Tennessee. They dropped the dumb. They just played the Tennessee School for the Deaf.
That's right. That's 1905. I'll tell you what. That's what
I was going to ask. Was the team that couldn't speak better than the team that could?
Yeah.
Like, how do you know which one of those is best?
No. Hey, the dumb kept running the wrong routes, so they just cut them out. They're like, no, we're done with them.
Come on. All right. I like the fact that LSU played the freshmen in 25, but Vanderbilt played the graduates in 1890. I do enjoy that. I think that's
the tennis club of Cuba that Florida played against me. Like, it's a football game, and they're playing a tennis club from Cuba.
But yeah, that's solid. Chance, you brought that one up too in our chat. That one does stand out. A tennis club from Cuba, of all the things. Like, there must have just been some contact in Gainesville with
like, can we think about the logistics? This is what got me, is I started thinking about the logistics, and not only the fact that the Florida Gators were playing the Redondo Tennis Club of Cuba, but it was in 1912. The Model T didn't come around until 1908. So we're 4 years into the Model T, and we've got a team of tennis players from Cuba taking a steamship around the Horn of Florida to go. Like, did they take an entire summer vacation to go play one game? Like, logistically, how were they able to make this happen?
Yeah, I think I want
to know what the Barbarian Club that Fresno State took on was.
Well,
weapons, and Utah State took on the entire Pacific Fleet. That seems like a daunting task.
Yeah, anybody that's taken on like the Utah National Guard, that's tough. Teams that are taking, I mean, like Auburn in 1944, the 4th Infantry, really? Like, you're just going to play the infantry? That's
Colorado
bold.
State played a high school. Like,
yeah.
Well, hey, and don't forget,
is that just a confidence booster? Like, hey, we haven't won in a while. Let's go find the high school.
Yeah.
Well, hey, UNLV played one single guy, Mr. Hiram Scott. I don't know how that worked out. And
Hiram's got quicks.
Hey, and Alabama.
Hey, if Hiram is like the dude in Deadpool, like the big monster guy, it'd be a challenge.
Yeah.
Well, but look at Alabama. Alabama decided they were going to play the second ambulance company, not the first,
right?
But the second ambulance company of Ohio.
I think that weekend, Chance, the first ambulance company of Ohio was playing Ohio State. So I think Alabama had to settle.
Bottom right there, Washington State played the Blair Business College, and Washington State was one of my picks this week. And considering how they fared against Boise State, I would schedule Blair Business College as soon as possible. All right, as soon as you can get them back on the schedule.
Nevada playing the Pacific Fleet, San Diego State Submarines of the Pacific. I mean, there's a lot going. Guys, of every team I see here, I think the winner is Wyoming, because when you play the Wilson Beauties in 1894, you probably get a date or two out of that, right? I mean, it's just.
Do you feel like at some point you're up in Wyoming and you had to think 1894, there weren't a whole lot of women up in Wyoming? You think in that game there might have been a streaker or two, maybe not just streaking for the attention?
Maybe trying to get some attention a different way. Oh my God. And maybe the best is Hawaii against the polar bears. I mean, come on. That's either actual polar bears or just a bunch of like old guys that like to jump into cold water. One of the two.
Again, logistics of, I'm assuming polar bears came from somewhere up north. It's not like Hawaii was massively accessible in 1939.
Oh God. And fellas, obviously making fun of Oklahoma is a lot of fun. Up to the Sooners in the SEC section. Just the town of Sulphur, Oklahoma. Really? You just went and played a town? What the hell is that? Sooners?
Hey, that's not San Diego State played the submarines of the Pacific. They're taking on boats.
Hey, I don't know if I want to empty out submarines and play a bunch of those people.
Do you play it underwater? Because the submarines have a decided advantage. On land, they're pretty slow.
Oh my God, that is
Kentucky played the railroad, and you got to give credit to our team we just played this weekend, because Mississippi State they were tough enough that they stepped on and they played Payne Field. Like they showed up to the game.
They played the field. Playing the field in 1918. There it is. And Arkansas went with the Cherokee Male Seminary. Okay. There you go. That's what you want to do.
Business at the Cherokee Male Seminary.
Hey, while we're joking about that stuff,
Lord,
not to get too derailed, but we do have Oklahoma in 2 weeks. And can I say how absolutely hysterical it was listening to Tom Brady as he broadcast Baker Mayfield's game, saying what would have been stressful to me is not having a ring. And if I wanted, this isn't what do you say? This isn't
not daycare.
Daycare. It's not daycare. We're not here to have fun. If I want to have fun, I'll take my kids to Disney World.
I think, you know what, Chance? The only thing better than Tom Brady so far in the booth is that play-by-play guy that's with him that keeps egging him on. Like that guy has a fire underneath Tom Brady at every opportunity. It was fantastic.
Well, it was so great.
Tom Brady is the king of petty. Like he literally, and Baker started that crap. Tom was damn sure going to finish it, and never mess with the guy that has the microphone, because eventually he'll win. And Tom Brady, I even like Baker Mayfield, but he shouldn't have said what he said, and Tom Brady put him in his place.
Yeah, and Bo, not just the microphone. He's got the microphone and 7 damn rings. Like, it's Tom Brady you're talking about here. You're the guy that followed Tom Brady. Tread lightly, young man, please.
Well, whoa, our favorite underage listener, Colt Carney, is back on the chat line. So welcome back, Colt. Hope you enjoyed USA flag football camp this summer and making the team.
What's up, Colt? What's up, Colt? Good to hear from you.
Now the swear jar has to come back out, Chance. No more cussing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Our younger constituents are back.
ATX Bates just put a pretty good buy or sell up there, though, Chad. That's an interesting one. I'd love to hear Jason on this first.
Oh, it's a break.
No, look, I worship at the shrine of Michael Jordan, okay? And yeah, I think that is, I mean, obviously he's an incredible athlete, but that was like what made him such a killer, is like if somebody just slighted him in any sort of way, he's like, I am going to embarrass you here in front of everybody tonight. It's also easier to do, I guess, for a basketball player. But no, I think it's Michael Jordan for sure.
Jason, I agree, especially until we get evidence that Tom Brady consistently made them up. I mean, we have evidence that Michael sometimes made them up to get himself fired up. So, yeah, I'll lean Michael there too. I'm with you. But Brady is definitely one of those guys, though.
Let me point out to Blake, who is one of our best chatters. I like Baker Mayfield, the human being. I like Baker Mayfield, the guy that overcame not getting a scholarship, that overcame Oklahoma, Texas Tech trying to screw him out of getting to just play football. He was a red shirt. I mean, he was a walk-on. He was he wasn't even on scholarship, and you're telling me he can't go play somewhere else? No, I like his story. I don't like the fact that he's a Sooner, and that's where he ended up, but that's every other school's fault. He went to the Sooners by default and a girlfriend. So whatever. He got there. He's a nice guy. Back before he was, an NFL guy, he played in a fantasy golf league that I was a part of. and he would routinely run his mouth in a funny way, and he seemed like a good dude to me. Now, I mean, that just is what it is. I like Baker Mayfield, the human being.
I got to tell you guys, as a Bucs fan, it's getting easier and easier to deal with Baker Mayfield as long as he keeps throwing the ball to Mike Evans. By the way, shout out to Mike Evans, not only one of my favorite Aggies of all time, he's now the all-time leading scorer in the history of the Bucs.
Awesome. Mike Evans, y'all know I have a big man crush on Mike Evans. Just as I'm still, it's the chicken and the egg. I'm not sure if it was Johnny was really that great, or if it was that Johnny had Mike Evans.
Oh, it was both.
We both know the answer to that question. Yeah. One of them is going to be in the Hall of Fame. The other one is fucking shit on the internet. Who do you think made the other one better?
It was definitely a lot of both. Congrats to Mike.
I mean, Johnny's a month away from calling slap fights. Like, he's going to have a kid. He's Johnny Mansell. Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer. Who made the other one better? Let's be real.
He's still got a ways to go, but if he hits that 1,000-yard mark this year, again, it will be, I think it's 11 years in a row, which would tie Jerry Rice's record if he gets there. All right, so I don't see any super chats right now, but I do see, Bo, that we need to tell the folks about a little Texas hitch and truck. Let's go.
Let's go. If you got a truck, it's time you make it your truck. It's time you accessorize your truck. It's time you get the lift, get the tires, make the back end work effectively with a toolkit that goes into your bed of your truck. They have everything you can, brush guards, grill guards, whatever you need. Texas Hitch and Truck has it. They have a store right there on 183. And we're running these ads so you know that store is still open right there on 183 and burn it. Everything else is construction and terrible, but Texas Hitch prevails because they're awesome. Ran by a great orange blood, diehard Longhorn fan. We showed a picture a couple weeks ago of him and his son at the Michigan game. We'll send you more pictures from the OU game. He's a good friend of mine. He's outfitted numerous Texas athletes before NIL deals kicked in. Texas Hitch and Truck Center is your place to get your truck looking right.
There you have it. Shout out to Texas Hitch and Truck. Shout out to all of you.
Did you just say that they were providing illegal benefits to athletes?
I just heard that myself.
Is that what you said?
After graduation.
Correct yourself.
He literally did
the
that.
NFL.
Damn it, Bo.
Chance. We were on the air when A.J. Williams was like, hey, can they hook my truck up? And we said, sure. He played for the Bills at the time.
Yes, he did.
All right.
Blake Gideon is a coach for the University of Texas.
Totally fair.
All right, couple of items here, gentlemen, before we head towards the doors. First off, a couple of rest in peace moments in sports today. Dikembe Mutombo passes away today. That's right. No. Second leading block shot guy of all time in the NBA, I believe.
Which I'm sad we didn't get to talk about it, because when you were mentioning who's more petty, Michael or Brady, one of the funniest things ever is Mutombo and Jordan going back and forth on if Jordan had ever dunked on Mutombo, and he's like, no, you have not. You have not. And they were going back and forth on it. I think it may have been during the filming of Space Jam.
Oh, wow.
Filming. And so it's behind the scenes. And well, then that season after that, Jordan posterized him.
Yeah. And then the other one, Pete Rose died today. Literally in the last couple of hours that I saw that. Pete Rose dead at the age of 83. For Dikembe, there was cancer involved. I don't know if that was what was going on with Pete at age 83, but Pete Rose died today as well. So rest in peace to the all-time hit king in baseball.
Yes, and I'm still pissed off. There is no other athlete in sports that I'm more pissed off that's not in the Hall. Besides, he should have seen himself go into the Hall of Fame. Number one, he didn't bet on baseball. He bet on himself. He never once bet against himself. He didn't throw games. He was betting like, no, we're about to beat that ass. Like, it's bullshit. He should have been in the Hall. It's a shame.
Hold on. He should have been in the Hall of Fame, but the reason he isn't and why it hasn't happened in the last 10 years is because he acted like a petulant child after he got in trouble for breaking. Chance, you know this. How many locker rooms have you been in? It is a sign that is in every locker room, plenty large enough. He broke the rules. He got caught. if he'd have just took his punishment, eventually that'll let him in. Instead, he was going to card shows in Vegas and selling autographs saying, I'll bet you on that. Like,
maybe not on the day he died, Bo. Maybe this is not the time for that.
But Pete Rose, I like Pete Rose, but the reason he didn't get in was because of his behavior. He'll get in about 2 years from now because they'll vote him in. They didn't want to give him – they didn't know what he was going to do in Cooperstown. If he got elected in, he would have like a John Daly trailer right outside the event selling bronze statues. I mean, that's his own actions kept him out. Now he'll get in.
It will be interesting to see if baseball does anything now that Pete Rose has passed away. We'll see if that changes at all. Couple of super chats that came in. ATX Bates, $4.99. Two-parter.
That can be fun too.
Regarding OU, Chance, how did the upper class guys prep you for the Red River shootout? 4th and goal from the 2. Who do you hand it off to for the win? That's an interesting way. Okay, so Chance, first off, how did the upperclassmen get you guys ready for the game? Then we'll deal with the second part.
You know, that whole week is full of learning the tradition of the game. There's nothing they can do. This is the weird thing. Until you've been down there, they can tell you about it. You can hear about it. I've told my son about it. He didn't even play in the game, and the first time he just went to the game. So until you've been in it, you can't understand it. So they try to prepare you for it. That week it's a very weird week because it's an incredibly intense week, but at the same time, it's like you're waiting for Christmas. Like, it's such an exciting week. It's you can't wait to get there because it's a game that's so unique. It's so different from anything else that's in college football. There was nothing you can't be prepared. You just have to be there. That's why veteran experience is such a big deal, because you can tell him about it, you can read about it, you can watch videos on it, whatever. Until you're in that moment, you have no idea what it is. So that's, unfortunately, that's the sad part. Colin Simmons, as good as he is, he won't have a clue about Texas OU until the first time he lines up against one of those Oklahoma deep offensive linemen and whips their ass and gets to the quarterback.
Yeah. And guys, I'm assuming the second part here from Bates is a current team question. 4th and goal from the 2. Who do you hand it off to for the win? So Jason, you want to start on that one? Who do you hand it to?
Piece of cake. Arch Manning, quarterback draw.
Good. Yeah, that's a good call. It's a good call. You know what? Arch in the backfield. Quinn hands it to Arch. I think that would be an interesting play. Bo, anybody else you'd hand it to? 4th and 2?
Jarrett Gibson. He's
Okay.
the strongest bulldozer running back that we have, and he hits the hole. Like, I know everybody at Orange Bloods is the biggest fan of Jaden Blue in the history of the world, and he makes some freakish plays. He also sometimes he takes his sweet-ass time and does his little Le'Veon Bell routine and gets nothing or fumbles. Give it to the guy that runs like he just got shot out of a cannon. Jarrett Gibson runs hard every play. So if I'm trying to get 2 yards for a touchdown, give me the guy that's going to run into opposition and keep going.
I mean, it's the Pacheco effect, right? Like, the dude he just goes downhill. He's going to hit something somewhere, but he's going to hit it at 100 miles an hour. And sometimes you're going to shoot through there and you're always going to fall forward. The weird thing is, I agree with both the 2 guys below me, though, because I think if I've got 4th down and 2 from the 2-yard line and I got a 6'5", 240-pound guy, number one, I cannot stand when you're on the goal line and you don't go from under center. I don't understand giving up 5.5 yards
to Tom Herman special
to make it 4th and 7. Like, stop.
Right.
But so I take our offensive line and a 6'5", 240-pound guy, get behind there and push and go. But if I've got to give it to a back, Gibson, I love what Gibson's doing. I enjoy watching the guy run. There's not a lot of flash to him. He's like, here's where I am. Just come get some. And I love that about him.
ATX Bates, thank you for that. And he was asking about this year's team, so I did have that part right. This one is from Tracy, $5 super chat. Thank you, Tracy. We're through a quarter of the season. Who is the most underrated Texas player on offense and defense? Underrated players. Bo, you want to start that one?
Yeah. On defense, David Benda. Like, the guy gets no credit. He's in the right position. He's not Anthony Hill flashy. He's not Colin Simmons flashy, but David Benda rarely is in the wrong spot, and he makes tackles now. David Benda 2 years ago missed tackles, took bad angles. He's a grown-ass man playing linebacker, and mark my words, he's going to make a roster in the NFL, even if it's just on special teams, because that's how much he's improved. On offense, that's a tougher question, but for me, it would be Juan Davis. And I know he's not a huge contributor, but from where he came from a couple of years ago, where like everybody was just assuming he was going to portal somewhere because he was never going to see the field, he's contributing on offense and not just running routes and being an athlete. He blocks, and he blocks really well, and they have faith in him. Now I would have never thought I'd see the day where Juan Davis was being moved around the field like a chess piece from fullback to H-back to tight end. Like, they're using him as a weapon, so it'd be Juan Davis.
Chance Mock, underrated players each side of the ball?
I was going with either the GB or the B with either Broughton or Benda because I think both of them have played better than I expected them to play this year, quite honestly. I think everybody else has played up to Makuba's been what he's going to be. You knew what he was going to be. The ends, I mean, Colin Simmons, he's getting the due he deserved, which what he's doing as a freshman I think is phenomenal. Anthony Hill missed some tackles last week, but he's been phenomenal. So it's either Bender or Broughton. Offensively, I don't know. I'm gonna throw the pass card on that one if we're playing Uno because I don't know that there's anybody that's just been incredible that has not gotten the praises that they like. You could have said going into the season, you know. Would anybody have thought Gunnar Helm is could possibly be chewing his way up to one of the top tight ends picked in the draft? Like, would anybody have thought that?
No, Helm was the first guy I thought of. Yeah, absolutely. That's totally fair. And I'll allow you to pass, Chance, but only because you made an Uno reference. Well done.
Well,
Jason?
can I make a cheesy pun Uno reference and say, why didn't you play the skip bow card? Because people would probably have appreciated that.
That's a different game.
That's two. You just combine two weird card games at the same time. Good job. Well done. Jason Dick, what do you think?
I play the reverse. Go back to Chance. All right. No.
I'm playing green.
I don't have a good answer. So rather than fake it, I'm going to say for both sides of the ball, Bert Auburn. Okay. Reliable kicker. Yeah. Underappreciated. So underappreciated. He puts 3 points on the board and his coach says, take him off. Take them off. All right. Take the points off the board. All right.
We don't need that. We don't need that.
Makes the kicks and doesn't mess up field position. Bert Auburn. That's my answer.
By the way, for the record,
I got a little distracted because the Tennessee Titans have prevailed in the Pickle Fest by utilizing former Cowboy running back Tony Pollard, who scored his first touchdown of a game that mattered for the year. Yay!
Well done.
1-15. But we beat them.
Never apologize for wins in the NFL. Well done, Bo. Well done to the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis's team. Will Levis. But
Will Levis sitting on the bench, and that's where he should stay.
They got to win.
He should be on the field every weekend.
And let him sit his butt on the bench.
I guarantee you, if you play him every week for the next 2 years, we will find something worse than butt fumble, and he will be the all-time greatest.
Yeah,
it's guaranteed.
There's just something wrong when your quarterback has inside his arm sleeve tats with like arrows and sayings. Like, there's just something that's a little off-putting about it.
Yeah. By the way,
No Point has a couple tats, but not like these. And he looks like he belongs at a meth lab, not at a damn NFL franchise.
Since Jason mentioned it, I'll say it out loud so y'all don't have to. One thing Sark did mention today, in addition, in the list of mistakes that needed to be cleaned up, he did twice say, and the coach took 3 points off the board, and the coach took 3 points off the board. Hopefully Sark understands the monumental moment that was. Because, gentlemen, in my opinion, as a football fan that's watched for a few years, there's never a version of that makes sense. Ever. There is never a moment where going to 11 isn't the move in that exact scenario. Look, if he does that again, because that building reacted one way and y'all knew it. Y'all thought of the same thing. That's Tom Herman behavior. That's what that is.
If you get it down to 4th and a half yard where you can sneak it, then let's talk, okay?
Maybe.
But it's 4th and 3, and you're gonna throw this weird little. I was like, what?
I'm so, and I tweeted it as soon as it happened, and I don't remember exactly how I phrased it, but something. The point was, my whole entire life, you never took points off the board. I guess that's changed now.
Well, and Chance, not just points off the board, to go from one score to 2.
But it's 2 full scores where they have to go for 2. Like it
doesn't. Yes.
Right.
Just like we talked about.
It's crazy.
Just like I said, I thought some of the players had gotten kind of caught in this. We're playing a bunch of bad opponents and we can kind of have fun and whatever. I think the coaches did a little bit too. Like that was that self-check for Sark. Like,
yes,
he didn't even ponder the possibility that they weren't going to get the yardage against Mississippi State. Like he did,
but it's not a pondering
mind. And y'all know I love Sark. He didn't. If that was Georgia, they keep the field goal. But it was Mississippi State. He's like, sweet, we get another drive.
Yeah, you hope that's true, Bo. And again, since he took the responsibility, I'm hoping he's learning that lesson moving forward. I'm the one that always brings it up, but I think it does matter. 7-12 in one-score games so far at Texas. Last year it was 3-2, and we know what the 2 were. This is not a head coach that has proven that he can be a badass in one-score games. So please don't create one when there doesn't need to be one. Take a 2-score lead when it is presented to you.
Every time. And to ATX Bates' point, what really the salt in the wound for me, and I got it on back-to-back days because God knows last night with the mud stomping that my Bills took, we're finally turning things around and we're moving the ball on, and we get from the 19 down to the Ravens 46, and we run a freaking trick play where we put Josh out. But it wasn't the fact that we ran a trick play. It was the play that was ran. They put Josh Allen at wide receiver as if everybody in the state of Maryland, in the entire North American continent, didn't go, Josh Allen's at wide receiver. Like, it wasn't even a good trick play. So then we take points, going back to the Texas game, we take points off the board, and we come back with a play call that was pretty inexplicable to me. Like, if you're going to do it, do it. Like,
right. Yeah, that just it didn't have a good feel to it all the way around. Hopefully, again, he'll take that responsibility. By the way, Chance, not only line up a dumb play with the Bills, you almost get your badass quarterback hurt running that stupid play.
Then we have Mitch Trubisky. We win 3 games all season.
Good grief. That was terrible.
But we'll get the wide receiver we've been wanting.
That's 2-time playoff quarterback Mitch Trubisky. You back off. Hey,
you know what?
I would trade Will Levis right now for Mitch Trubisky. You can have Will Levis.
I don't want them.
I know. Nobody does.
Nobody
Not
does.
Even maybe his girlfriend.
Maybe. Yes, maybe. There's
He's
a
got
chance.
money, so it works.
Thanks to everybody for jumping in the Specs chat tonight. Speaking of Specs, you still got time to get in on the whiskey sale. It runs through this weekend. It's an off week. Longhorn fans, your team is 5-0. Go get some whiskey and celebrate, would you?
Specs for our whiskey sale and enjoy the lowest prices on Texas' largest selection of whiskey. But hurry, these deals won't last long. Specs, cheers to savings.
In fact, go get whiskey, get yourself a good healthy pour, like right there at the end of the spot, and watch the only ranked matchup of this next weekend. Missouri at A&M. It's the only ranked matchup of the weekend because the Aggies are ranked by that much, right? 20 tied for 25th.
You're 25th and a half.
25th and a half. Take whatever. Take whatever you can get. Before we get out of here, gentlemen, I want to give a guest of the show a little love because we have at one point on this show, you guys have been nice enough to invite Doc Hastings on the show, and my dad got a teacher's award over the weekend, the Ex-Students Association that was crazy enough to give me a Hall of Fame induction last year. They gave him the Distinguished Teacher Award over the weekend. We went and checked it out. So congratulations to Doc Hastings. And thank you to the Waxahachie Ex-Students Association for acknowledging him and giving him his flowers. They let him speak, fellas. He got a little emotional, and you bet he wore that poncho shirt. Don't think you're seeing that as a mistake. Oh, no. He's wearing that poncho shirt to accept the award on Saturday. So congrats to Doc Hastings and getting the teacher award. There you go. There he is.
We couldn't retake that photo. I was not laughing at the award, but your Doc has got his eyes closed, man. We couldn't. Somebody couldn't check to make sure.
I think they were going.
Hang on, we got it.
I think maybe my mom told him to look at the trophy. That's the only thing I could come up with, right? Okay. Isn't that what he's doing? Hang on, let's go back. Let's go back and analyze this picture. I think she was telling him to look at the trophy.
Why did we all lean in like we were going to see the picture better?
Right? Like, I think that's what he's doing. I think he's looking at the trophy.
I see it now. I just thought
that's what we call a Sylvia Hastings artsy photo. She was telling him to look at the trophy and be proud of himself.
Well,
it's tough to convey all that, Jason.
Yeah. Sylvia, your photography award is coming soon.
That's right. Exactly. It is the Outsiders. Remember, we are brought to you by Poncho. Do the kids need a poncho shirt? They make those. There's the Ricky. There's the Spur. You got the Daryl if you want that denim. Speaking from experience, the poncho denim shirts are incredible. Those long sleeve denim is great. I don't have the short sleeve in the denim collection. I do have a couple of the long sleeve. They're excellent. So if you want the Daryl, the Ricky, the Spur, or any of the other great shirts, check them out. PonchoOutdoors.com, and make sure you tell them that you heard about it on Orange Bloods Live. When they have that little box that says, like, where did you hear about this? Make sure you type in Orange Bloods Live. We would appreciate that.
Hold on.
Very good. Yes.
Hooked on Horns said we didn't read his super chat.
I was just going to say we missed one.
We did? Hang on.
Chad, what's the blue helmet between the South Carolina and Utah helmets? It was a $5 super chat 20 minutes
Somebody
ago.
super chatted that?
15 minutes ago.
Those helmets are important.
The Ole Miss helmet?
The blue helmet between South Carolina and Utah. Oh, that's an Army helmet.
There.
Throughout the years, somewhere in radio land, I was gifted this helmet. It's when you know how Army and Navy do the little special helmets and stuff a lot of times. Yeah, it's one of the Army helmets. I'm not showing it off very well, but anyway, yeah.
And no, Chad isn't a giant, and that's a full-size helmet. Those are mini helmets, and Chad is normal size.
Yeah, don't give away my secret. A lot of people watch and still think they're full-size helmets. Yeah, that is Army. But thank you for asking the question. That was a super chat. Someone actually paid money to ask about the helmets.
Yeah,
I love our people. Outsider Nation is freaking phenomenal.
Well done, Outside. Yeah, I'm terribly sorry that I missed that one. But I'm glad. All right. See, this is just somebody that watches too much Orange Bloods Live. Blake says Doc Hastings closes his eyes. Chad just blinks. That's well done. Well done. Well done, Blake. You do watch too much. We appreciate it. Yeah, that's a chef's kiss. ATX Bates pointing out, hey, ATX Bates, not only Army, Navy is too. I think Army and Navy are both 4-0 and on a collision course. Fellas,
and on one particular Monday night, the Tennessee Titans were undefeated. It's a great Monday.
Do you guys realize that if this keeps up, Army could play Navy for the AC championship and then a week later play the Army-Navy game itself? That could happen. They're in the same conference.
It'll be like Texas and Georgia, or Alabama and Texas and Georgia. And all of them.
Right? Yeah, but it'd be a little back-to-back there.
Could they make the playoff as the group of 5 representative?
They could.
That's true. Right. Either one of those. Yeah, if they're the best, most highly ranked G5, absolutely. They could get in. And then just a quick one from Bates. How bad is FSU getting smoked by SMU? Pretty bad.
It's so great. It's so poetic. The fact that they named SMU in their lawsuit and then they get ass smacked. Belt
more poetic was former SMU wide receiver and Kansas City Chiefs player getting his ACL torn after he caused a 6-car pileup, including mostly children, doing his 119-mile-an-hour Lamborghini stunt this summer. That's poetic justice. It's called karma, Rasheed. Deal with it.
Oh, we're playing sports karma. You know what? I'll tell you what's great. What's great is look at the SMU and you can't see it because the specs thing. Look at the SMU and Louisville helmets. Look at that. Look how pretty. Oh, it's beautiful. SMU and Louisville. ACC the way your daddy intended. The old SMU Louisville matchup. Gentlemen, my favorite matchup of the week, easily is the game that Game Day is going to. Have y'all heard where Game Day is going?
Cal and somebody else.
Exactly, Jason. It's a classic ACC matchup. It's Miami at Cal. Just think about a farther journey that you could make. Miami going out to Cal, which is a little further away from the Atlantic Ocean than where they usually play. Just that far. Not far. Not too far at all. Miami at Cal. Yes, that is happening this weekend. Reset your brain on what the ACC really means. All right, fellas. Anybody else got anything important to say, or are we done? Bo's done. Nancy's done. We're shaking it off. We're throwing up hook 'em horns, ready to roll. We'll be back on Wednesday night for an off week Wednesday. We still got to pick some other games. We won't have a Texas game to deal with, obviously, but we'll pick the other games. We'll have one of you pick 3 games. And remember, if you go 3-0, I think our man Chris Bennett may have gone 0-3 last week. Chris Bennett, I will not say that on Wednesday.
That should be worth a prize as well. That should be worth a prize.
The super producer went 3-0.
Oh, did he really?
He did. He went 3-0, not 0-3.
Yeah.
I could only go 2-0-1 because your damn Aggies screwed me by only winning by 4, Chad.
God, that was rough.
They pushed.
It's a rough
What did
push.
I go?
2-1.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
We're coming back, Chance. We're within 3 games of the nickname.
Working it back. We'll get you the updated standings on Wednesday night. We'll make some picks. We'll talk some Texas football, college football, and, all kinds of other craziness. I think we got everything covered tonight. Let's see. Was there anything else we need to? No, I think we got everything done. Y'all have a great evening. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and getting those notifications. We are almost to the devil's number, 664 of you. 2 more of you jump in. We're going straight to hell. So we got to get out of here. We are